Welcome to Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast. I am your host, Dave West, codename Phantom Troublemaker.
And I am your co-host, Noel Wood, codename Crapshoot.
And I'm your Cobra intern that poured himself a cup of ambition and promptly threw it in Tomax's face, codename Legion Cub. And it was steamy hot.
Poor old Cobra intern working 9 to 5. What a way to make a Cobra living.
You mean 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And for a night person, that is HE double hockey sticks.
So we had to do a hard cut to start. We were engrossed in a conversation prior to kicking things off here because we're talking about the hottest video on YouTube right now, my interview with Brian Flynn from Super 7, posted last night right here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. We talk about everything. It's a great conversation. It's also available in audio form wherever you get your podcasts. We talk about the new CEO. We talk about how the Amazon Thunder Tank happened. We talk about the future of Reaction and Reaction Plus. Kristian, you're gesticulating wildly.
Yeah. Well, because the Thunder Tank conversation was another one that went in a left turn that I didn't expect because they've been doing the cartoon colors, right? So when they announced it, I wasn't totally surprised, but I was also like, in today's climate, how is the Snowcat doing, I wonder?
Right. Oh, yeah, we do have to do a Snowcat check-in. Somebody pull up the Haslab page. We'll get to that in a minute.
I have it up right now.
Okay, cool.
To have him talk about, the vendors saying, hey, we know what we want. I was just like,
yeah, it was.
Whoa.
It was a great conversation. We did a deep dive into New York hardcore and Gorilla Biscuits, which the segue that presented itself into something we're going to be talking about tonight was fantastic. But anyway, everybody please check that out. Share it. It's a big deal. I'm very proud of the fact I've gotten to the point where I can, email Brian Flynn and he'll come on the show.
Brett says, as someone who has launched a company and is doing a bunch of stuff he has no idea how to do, which, I don't know, you seem to have a good head on your shoulders. But he said, I related to Brian talking about hiring a CEO, LOL, OMG.
Yeah, it was the whole time we were talking, and I didn't say this because, when you're doing a conversational interview like that, you want to keep the momentum going. But it just occurred to me, I kept thinking over and over again, like, once they got to the point where they were in Target and he's still the only one handling everything, that is crazy. So anyway, check out Brian Flynn's interview on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Again, I'm very proud of that. And there's tons and tons and tons of information.
You know how much I love a good hyperbole, but I mean it. This is hands down my favorite interview in this series so far. There have been others, but this one absolutely, like, I've listened to it or watched it twice now because there is just so much information in it.
Yeah, it was a good time. I think we both had a lot of fun. So you can listen to that, the audio version, with the exclusive intro wherever you get your podcast, the Needless Things podcast. And you can listen to this show also wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure you subscribe or click the follow button or do whatever it is you do. Follow Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram and on Blue Sky. And while you're on Instagram, click those pinned stories and get yourself some Audible Interlude merch. Wait for a sale. We've got T-shirts, we've got hats, we've got all kinds of different stuff. And I want to ask the people. So if you are following us on Instagram, and I can't imagine you're not, we put up that now back to Audible or now back to AI Pod logo on the socials like a few minutes before we go live every time. Would you guys want that as a shirt? And if you haven't seen it, go to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram right now because I just posted it. Would that make a good shirt? And I need to get. There are a few other designs that need to be kind of cleaned up and finished up. We need to get some new stuff on there. But Needless Things YouTube channel, I'll be reviewing. So this week's reviews already set and ready to go. Nothing G.I. Joe, but some really cool stuff is going up. The Howling Werewolf from NECA, a Santa Claus figure for Christmas in July, and the new Ash from Army of Darkness from Zombie Sailors Toys. Those all go up this week. And bumping things back once again, this guy will be going up next week. Breaker, or should I say Breaker. Because what I found out, I was curious about this when I got home, because this portrait seemed a little more distinctive to me. This new Breaker, the mass device version, has a completely new portrait. It is not the same head that was on the old Breaker, which shouldn't totally surprise me because they did do new heads for Scarlet and for Duke. Not that this is a retro, but they've done it. But I was just expecting the same portrait. And this one has a much better skin tone on it. That original Breaker is a little pale.
Well, I mean, this is the mass device, so he isn't hardened and seen all of the crazy Cobra schemes that old Breaker has experienced.
Well, this face actually looks a little more weathered than the first one does. Well, more on that in the review next week. Our schedule with this was not supposed to be a live stream day, but we've got news to talk about. So we decided, what the heck, let's go live. But we'll be live again next Monday, talking about whatever happens at San Diego Comic-Con. And we will be going live on the Needless Things channel, not as Audible Interlude, but as a regular Needless Things show, talking about everything else at San Diego Comic-Con. We did this last year where I think it was you, me, and Schweck last year too, Kristian, where we kind of just talked about our top 5 favorite things, because you can't cover it all like we used to do. But we'll be going live Sunday night, Sunday the 27th. We'll be going live to talk about what happened at San Diego Comic-Con. And then you can catch us live and in person 4 p.m. August the 29th at Dragon Con in Atlanta. Dragon Con is the best pop culture for the fans, by the fans convention, really in the world, I think. Now, granted, I've only been to like 10 different conventions total, so my range of experience is not tremendous, but I will still say with confidence Dragon Con is the best, because guess what? It's the one where you can see Audible Interlude live at 4 p.m. on August the 29th. As part of the Dragon Con American Sci-Fi Classics track. Marriott M103, M105.
Same room as always? Those
Yes.
numbers sound familiar.
Yeah, it's been in the same room for the past few years.
Yeah. That's good.
They've had that room for quite a while now, like 10 years.
It might be 10 years
because you did your game show there the first time.
The first game show we did was in 2014, and that was in the old L-shaped room.
Okay.
And I think the next year they were where they are now. Well, I'm trying to remember if we did the game show in the room twice.
And yes,
because we've never done the game show in the current room.
Besides Audible Interlude, you can see us in the big damn game show.
Boy, howdy, can you. Big damn game show. Well, you know what? I'll run it down.
The most fun you'll have at Dragon Con.
Just for fun, here's the stuff the con buddies, our group of people, are doing at Dragon Con, just so you know some of the other stuff that's going on there. Friday at 1 p.m., we're doing a panel called Batman Forever, Forever. And here's a little insider note. I hate that movie, but we're doing a panel about it. And believe me when I tell you, it will be worth it to show up. I've got something very special planned that nobody will be expecting. The 4 p.m. is the Audible Interlude panel. Saturday, 10 p.m., Big Damn Game Show, which is just the greatest live game. This is not us sitting at a desk asking trivia questions. This is a fully interactive stage show with physical stunts and screen stuff. It's big and it's wild. It's crazy, and we're in a bigger ballroom this year, which is excellent. And then Sunday we've got a lot going on. Halloween Con, which is a panel dedicated to celebrating Halloween. We will be doing a Choose Your Own Adventure panel, which we've done many times now at different conventions, even where we pick a Choose Your Own Adventure book and the audience determines where we go. And then, oh gosh, what is the other one? We've got one more. Oh, the Video Game Hall of Fame. I'm not part of that one anymore, but Video Game Hall of Fame, where all the real nerds of our group get together to talk about video games.
Me being one
I'm
of
just
them,
kidding.
typically, but
Yeah.
we haven't started discussing that one yet, so we'll have to. I'll have to,
I
to
think,
reach out to.
Look, I'm going to give the other folks that I've handed panels off to over the years some benefit of the doubt and say that I am a maniac, that I plan way too far in advance, and that maybe some of my preparation and communication is over the top and unnecessary.
And I presume
But
my wife is also running the Geek Year panel.
No idea. I mean, it's hers now, so I have no, and that's one of the ones I handed off. And that's, I told them, because we used to do a Christmas panel called Christmas Con. And I told them last year, I was like, I think we did everything that we can with Christmas Con, but if you want to continue doing it, you have my blessing. Keep going. And they were like, Dave, we can't.
If we can work our way through the holidays at the rate that we work through file cards, I
was going to say ArborCon coming 2034. All right. Well, that's enough self-promotion. Like, that really got centered on me a little bit. And, I just hate it when that happens. The Facebook group, the Audible Army Facebook group, is live now. We are having fun over there. And all you have to do to join is click the link that I'm getting ready to put in the chat right here, right now, or send your email address to, now that link is only going to work if you're on a desktop. So otherwise, send your email address to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, and we'll send you an invitation and get you added to the Audible Army Facebook group. And I will admit, the last couple of weeks, I have not been as active in there as I'd like to be, because we've been filming stuff for the game show. It's just been a lot going on, getting ready for Dragon Con. But we will be putting polls up in there. We're going to let people determine what we review, that sort of thing. So get in the group, hang out, have fun. Just today, one of the posts that went up, we had a lot of back and forth between the members about one of the things that went up. So it's a fun place, and it's a private group, and we are going to be selective about who and what gets in there. We're not going to tolerate any nonsense, and I define nonsense. So it's fun. And you just leave the jerks at home. All right. What else have we got? I skipped right past that one to go to that one. We got a little follow-up on the Snowcat. Now, we did a pretty thorough breakdown of what we thought of the actual offering last week. So we're just going to check in with numbers this week. Where are we with the Snowcat?
7149, which
so it has not funded,
but it's slowly getting there.
I mean, it still has 24 days, so we're about halfway through the project at this point, a little more than that. But
And look,
we'll see.
Comic-Con's
As it
this
gets
weekend.
closer to 8,000, you're going to have those people who they want to be that 8,000th backer.
I don't
Should I cancel
understand
mine and then reback it again?
Well, if everybody, so right now at this point, 71.49. If everybody who is backed one or more just goes ahead and doubles your contribution right now, we'll hit that 14,000 immediately.
Wow.
Are you going to bring your wife on to sing a song and cry?
I do. I had an exchange a few days ago where I did like the Snowcat. I love the Snowcat. I love the vehicle design. It is a favorite vehicle of mine. We've talked about, as we've said, we talked about it over the years on the show. That just because of its uniqueness and how cool its profile is, that it was a candidate for a Haslab. However, I will acknowledge that if I didn't love its design, the fact that it's environmentally specific would be off-putting to me, especially since we don't have that many cold weather troops to go with it. So, if I didn't love this vehicle design, I wouldn't be super stoked about this because it's a little early now to be having environmentally specific vehicles.
Then I would say I am even more believing in your theory of once San Diego Comic-Con hits, that things will jump ahead. Because remember, we've had all the reveals for 2025. We had those for a while.
Right.
So everything they've been announcing is 2026. I am sticking to my guns that we are going to get some heavy hitter,
I think so.
snow characters.
I think you're right, and I still
Avalanche, Destro
Frostbite.
repainted in white as Snow Destro.
I mean, he may very well get all new
Death
tooling
Snow.
because Destro is a high enough profile character to where I think they might do Death Snow. Entirely
Death
possible.
Snow.
I also think once, because all that was out there was the video, really. They've done some social media stuff. Once the pictures start really circulating of the model, people see it in person next to regular humans, I think that's going to get it some hype as well.
Yeah, so maybe by this time next week we'll have some more numbers we can present.
Yeah, good point. A week from now, things are probably going to look very different. Another little bit of follow-up. I just want to mention again, our pal Word Burglar, a friend of the show, has a Kickstarter that is still going on, the Rhymes with Comics Kickstarter, where 15 of his tracks are going to be illustrated in comic book form in an anthology comic book. It's already funded. He's blown through tons of stretch goals. Just go check out Word Burglar Kickstarter and see. I mean, get in on Rhymes with Comics. It's all very, very reasonably priced for what it is, especially with all the stretch goals going on now. So very exciting. Congratulations to Word Burglar for a great campaign. And then finally, Kristian, I assigned you a little homework because we never talk about Haya Toys.
Hiya!
I don't. Hiya, Kristian. We never talk about Haya Toys because I don't even know if they ever got any product on the market.
Right. So when you sent that to me, I had the same response. I was like, well, I know from our chats a few figures have come out, but I don't ever see anything about them. So I did some looking around and watching some reviews on YouTube. More figures are out than I realized.
Okay.
When you go to their website, the number of pre-order figures is way higher than what I thought. For again, not hearing many peeps about this.
I feel like I see a new pre-order like every couple of weeks. And
Yeah,
I just
see, I've stopped
wonder, are these coming out,
seeing them.
what, 2 years from now? Could they just put up a Rock Viper?
So the closest to today video I could find, or review, I guess I could say, about are these figures ever coming out, was 9 months ago. And all of the figures this person talked about has come out since then.
Okay.
But you've got obviously Storm Shadow, Snake Eyes came out, the Cobra Commander came out. You have Flint and Lady J, and Beachhead, Major Blood, the Baroness. Destro still shows as a pre-order, but supposedly he's on his way. But it Gung Ho came out. And
So
watch,
they are coming
It's
out.
sort of, you know what it's reminding me of is last year or year before, the Mezco 112s, where it was like, we announced this, and
Yeah.
then crickets, surprise! It's actually on its way now. I would say that much like all of the other Haya toy lines, you see is hit or miss.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah, most of the reviewers that I watched, they rave about the designs looking exactly like, classified. That Storm Shadow with the tattoo and the different face masks,
Right.
people
They did
want
the
that as a
blackout version, right?
classified. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
But it seems like, and again, I mean, Haya Toys is still a small third-party toy company. So yeah, there's a few things, stiff joints, paint applications being a little splotchy, but I wouldn't say that it's in any great number. Like almost like with Super 7, it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
But when I went and was looking at the pre-orders,
More hits, but the misses are misses.
yeah, if you're one of the folks that gets a miss, I do feel bad for you because these are not released in the States. You're importing them. So the process of getting a replacement is probably not an easy one. There are plenty of auctions for these on eBay. They seem to be selling anywhere between $30 to $50 a figure.
Oof.
So if I spent $50 on getting that Cobra Commander figure now, and he had scratches all over the chrome.
Oh my gosh.
What can I do? You reach
Yeah.
out to the seller, and it's going to be like, I can give you a refund. Just send me the figure back, and you have
Oh, what a
nothing.
pain. Yeah, and well, and it's got to be frustrating because other Haya products are available from Big Bad Entertainment Earth or whatever, but for whatever reason, the Joe stuff, and I obviously it's a licensing reason, but the Joe stuff is, they won't touch it.
No,
or can't touch it.
Can't. That's what I'm chalking it up to. Part of me wonders, I understand this is like, 25th anniversary style figures, but part of me does wonder if Reaction Plus has anything to do with that, because usually those agreements are for certain sized figures.
And this was They were producing these long before we knew we were getting Reaction Plus.
Long before we knew we were getting Reaction Plus.
After what, and to go again to that excellent Brian Flynn interview that everybody should check out, I was actually kind of surprised that he said that Ultimates and Classified were considered close enough to be competing.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't think of it that way, but well, listen to the interview. He gets into detail about how those things are looked at.
Rekship85 brings up Haya does better when they don't have to sculpt a full face.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's some Lady J's on eBay that I saw that I'm like, oh, you're making that Classified cover girl look gorgeous right now. And I thought maybe it was just bad photography. But yeah, so they've put pre-orders up for Crocmaster, Stalker, the Cobra Viper, Shipwreck. But they were taking so long because originally I had pre-ordered. I think it was like Cobra Commander up through Beachhead, and I
thought I remembered that you had pre-ordered some.
Yeah, but it took so long. I ended up canceling them because I'm like, there's so much other stuff coming out.
Yeah.
And since the longer this pod goes on, the less I have been into the 20. Noel has tainted my views on how the sculpt of the anniversary figures look, and I've been back to getting more and more O-ring. So when I look at these, I'm like, they look absolutely gorgeous. I think it is still awesome for people that want a 4-inch figure with lots of articulation, but it is small versions of the Classified figures.
In a weird way, because we, since we've been doing this show, I think all of us have been taking a little closer, more critical look at all of the history of G.I. Joe. In a weird way, 2002 style sometimes seems more aesthetically pleasing than some of the 25th stuff.
So I actually got, and apologies to everyone who has sent me messages.
Real quick, and I say that with this much. Wait, which side am I on? This much 25th stuff in my collection.
People who have sent me messages the last couple of weeks, I was not kidding. I am not a morning person, so these 6 a.m. shifts have totally screwed up my internal clock. I will get back to you all. There was one, however, that stuck out. Good friend of the pod, Rekship85, is now, he said, hunting for Spy Troop and Valor versus Venom era figures because of us talking about them on the pod so much. And I'm like, yeah, it's like when it first started, they looked weird. And now that weird aesthetic is kind of charming.
Yeah. It's fun stuff. And some of the character design, like, especially like if you can put aside that aesthetic, like some of the character designs are awesome. All right. Well, good. Thank you for
so that's where we are with Haya. You can, again, eBay is probably your safest bet to get the figures if you want them. And if any of our listeners do have them, post some photos in the Facebook group. Because I would love to be able to see more than just the reviews.
Although I will say, like, try to take nice pictures, because there's been a lot of controversy lately about pictures coming out and figures looking terrible. And like, if anybody knows about the whole Power Town wrestling debacle, This is all I'm going to say on that. I'm not going to name which Facebook group, but there is a specific Facebook group that regularly people will post pictures of figures that I own and that I know to be like figure of the year candidates, but the pictures that they post look like dog turd. I would never buy the figure based off of the picture that has been posted, but I know it's a great figure. So don't let yourself be entirely swayed, especially by leaked photos, especially by amateur photography. So if you're going to share some photos, just good lighting, good angle. Don't do the thing. Don't do like this thing. Yeah, and there it is. Rec Ship, thank you for giving me the excuse to bring it up. Toy photography. That is the shirt. Obviously, we can't use SpongeBob.
But if you can get an artist to do the Phantom Troublemaker mask.
No, that's Kristian.
Oh,
It's we need Sponge Kristian with the toy photography. Somebody get on that.
Before we wrap this segment up here,
okay.
There's two comments that I have to touch on real quick.
Bring it.
And I'm not going to bring the first one up. I'm just going to summarize it. But Brett White is loving listening to the old episodes of the pod when Noel and I were not into classified.
Right.
And hearing us be kind of hesitant and, and he's waiting for that dam to break for when we finally jump into it. And Steve Martin says, at Brett, I enjoyed doing that as well. First time I heard Kristian, I thought he was in his 20s. Laughy face, laughy
You're
face,
not?
laughy face. Dear sir, I am 19. This is what smoking, drinking, and a hard knock life will do to you.
Cocaine's a hell of a
mainline in those G.I. Joe classifieds.
No,
I think you
just wait until you get. I can't remember if it was our first. It was one of our early live streams when you finally get to that episode, and one of the people in the live stream had to make that exact comment. So,
and I think you broke before I did because I think I was the last holdout.
It's Kristian has just been huffing the paint from those 20-year-old Valor versus Venom figures, like when you first open them up. That stuff is toxic. All right. Well, that brings us to some news. All right, I already mentioned Breaker, and I've got to tell you the story behind Breaker. So on Sunday was kind of it's not a reset date for Target, but it was a date where they were putting out a bunch of new stuff. So we okay, wait, put up Ken Tomlin. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah.
Ken Tomlin says, you guys need to do a shirt that has no back for Noel's philosophy of not caring what the back of his figures look like.
I'm pretty sure most of our shirts have no back.
Well, I think that's what that's
no,
what
I think he means backless.
No back.
Like,
okay.
Like Sandra Bullock in what's where she Miss Pageant Lady, whatever that movie is. Miss Congeniality, thank you. I knew it wasn't called Miss Pageant Lady, but I couldn't think what the heck it was.
Miss Pageant Lady.
All right, so anyway, so Sunday, my hope was that we would head out because it was every Sunday my son and I go out so he can drive, and my hope was we'd hit a couple of targets and hey, Tom Henry!
Super chat. Last Starfighter, let's freaking go ring. Hashtag Fang 2025.
Look, I would pitch it all day long because I don't think it's a bad idea. But personally, I don't care for that movie. Oh, yeah, I know. I know, right? It's right up there with Crawl for me.
You know, just while we're on the subject, the first like 30 minutes of that movie are great, and then that's about all of that's that. I think after that I got bored with it last time I watched it.
Tom Henry is outraged.
I'm with you, Tom Henry.
I need to go watch it again though.
You
Yeah,
think
you know what? And
your,
to be honest, I haven't watched it in years, so maybe I need to give it a rewatch.
you-
He's still
you think-
outraged.
You think
What?
you
He's
know,
turned into Stone Cold Steve Austin. What?
you
What?
think you know your co-hosts, and stuff like this happens, and you're like, well,
So anyway, we're now Steve Martin. Now I want to classify Sandra Bullock, codename Miss Pageant Lady.
That sounds like an obvious plant toy right there.
Yeah, it does. It does. So anyway, we're out real quick. We're out on Sunday. We hit 2 targets, nothing. And then as soon as we get home, I get an email saying that because we were looking for the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles mutant module, the retro Superman figures, Breaker, and then a Masters of the Universe Cyclone that's really wacky. And I had 2 of those things pre-ordered. And as soon as we got home, I got emails saying that my pre-orders would be here today. And I looked and it said local delivery. And if it's local delivery, that means one of those 2 stores had those products and they just weren't out. And sure enough, today, Breaker and the Masters guy got here. And then when I was leaving work today, I got an email or a notification from the Target app saying that the mutant module was in stock at the store that I pass on the way home from work, and that I could order it for pickup, but it was like ready within 2 hours. And I was like, well, I'll be there in 20 minutes, so I'll just go in and buy it. So I went in, they're not on the shelves. I asked a guy who has zero interest in helping me whatsoever. And I was like, well, I'll just order it. So it's standing in Target. I ordered it for pickup, and I'll pick it up tomorrow on the way home from work, right? No big deal. I get home and I get an email from Target saying this item is not in stock at your store, but we can ship it for free and it will be there Wednesday, which is not possible because Target takes 10 days. They're the slowest of the retailers. But I said, okay, ship it to me, and it's supposed to be here Wednesday, which is crazy. And I will say this about the Target employee who had zero interest whatsoever in helping me. Nobody in this country is paid enough to do their job well. Nobody. And that's certainly the dude at Target stocking, mystery eggs or whatever in the girls' aisle. Certainly, I do not expect him to go rummage around in the back room to find my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toy. So I do not blame that guy at all. Quite frankly, if he'd spit on me, I wouldn't have been upset about it, because we're all of us as workers are so horribly abused in this country. Don't get mad at the employee. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Wait, no, that's not right. Don't hate the pawns.
Hate everything.
Don't hate the pawns, hate the game, and also hate the player. Yeah, Tom Henry, you've really summed it up. What? Anyway,
I noticed that online Target, I don't know if it's just people buying stuff quickly, but there's things that I have, you can get alerts for. And
yeah.
I have it set for any Target within a 25-mile radius.
Yeah.
And so I'll get that ping that, oh, this store has this figure, and I will click on that link and then go to order it, and it'll say, this is not in this store does not have this. And it's same thing. They want me to do shipping. So,
which is fine, because it seems like that's the default option. Like, oh, wait, we don't have it, but we can ship it to you. And I think sometimes you have to go through that process to get to that point. But whatever the case, Mutant Module review may be coming next week on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Well, Rex Ship, as always, just trying to spoil things and get ahead of us. I was charged for the claw this morning from Pulse. It seems like if you use PayPal, you get a little update before Pulse ever sends you any notification. Sometimes they don't at all. So pretty excited to see the claw whenever it gets here.
Yep, my claw also got the notification this morning. And I finally last night got my Rattler shipping notification. So
yes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
One day it'll be here.
Just added somebody to the Audible Army Facebook group. Once again, I'll say just shoot your email address to Audible Army Podcast on Instagram.
New York Knight, 1974, said, I had a good exchange with a Target employee. When that whole underpriced grunt thing happened, the guy at my Target got me a whole case from the back.
Nice.
I'm lost. It's
Remember
that old
Grunt,
man memory.
Grunt hit Target and was like $12 or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Okay.
And it took them like a good week or so to correct it, I think, if not longer. Yeah, and I have had plenty of great interactions with employees at every retailer except Walmart.
Well, I think you should take that comment with you to every single one now and be like, can you get me a case of $12 figures?
Other stores are doing it. All right, moving along to big news. Chatsworth is currently available to pre-order from BigBadToyStore.com. If you don't know, Chatsworth is the Sasquatch from Operation Monsterforce from Fresh Monkey Fiction. He is a big, giant figure that we have seen a couple of times in various stages of production now, and I cannot wait. He is currently $69.99 for this massive figure, but that price only lasts through the end of July. After that, he will go up to $79.99, and that $69.99 price includes tariffs.
I'm so glad
that
they did
is
that.
the price.
Yep.
So go check out Chatsworth on BigBadToyStore.com.
White Vegeta says, Friday got my snake armor shipping notification, also got charged for claws.
Yeah,
I
I'm a
haven't
little
gotten
annoyed about
anything
that.
for my snake armor because last I heard, not until
September
those would be
1st.
shipping out. Yeah, September.
Yeah, I'm a little annoyed because I've seen a number of people say that they've got notifications for their snake armor. And I ordered 2, which I shouldn't have done.
Dave might be the last one to get some. Well, it'll still be me. Dave will be the second last person.
I'll be the last one since I didn't order it. There you go.
All right.
Then I'll come back next week and tell you the story about how I saw a guy that was selling one for like $3 on the street. And
yeah. Little news from Valverse, Splinter Cell Blacklist. So Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell has long been a very big franchise in the gaming community, and I think it's really cool that Valverse is getting this kind of license. I think this is the kind of thing that could really boost this company. You know, I've reviewed a number of their products here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Most recently, one of their variant. Oh shoot, I can't even remember the name of the figure. But the product is good. It's just, as you guys all know, modern military is just not generally my cup of tea. But something like this is what could really bring this brand a lot of attention and get them to the next level. I think this is a great acquisition. Curious to see what they do with it. And I'll say this also, if and I think this is a tricky license to deal with, but if he could get his hands on Metal Gear, that would be perfect and wild. What else have we got? Night Force Beachhead, which the more I look at this figure, the more I love it. And Night Force Quick Kick going on sale this Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time at Walmart. Probably going on sale at Pulse also in some way form or fashion. But if you're following Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram, we put up a link so you can go ahead and bookmark it and be ready for when these go on sale. I really like this set quite a bit. Nothing?
No.
If I find it on clearance,
Which you probably will.
I am genuinely excited for everyone who is excited for these. I really like the Beachhead. Night Force is just not exciting for me.
Okay, so Night Force is not my favorite. However, with what we have in the line, what I've ended up with, I like them a lot as a group of figures together. And Night Force Tunnel Rat went down to $10 on Walmart recently, so I got one of those, and I think I like it a little more than the regular Tunnel Rat. But just all the Night Force figures together look really cool, and these two are just going to add to that.
See, the only one I have is what's his face that came with the Dragonfly.
Yeah, Crazy Legs
Yeah.
and Ripcord.
Yeah.
yeah, I've got those, but I never did open them. I was trying to sell those figures because I just don't. I'll wait for the regular releases of them. And I did pick up the 2-pack of Falcon and Coral. I haven't opened it yet, but I do want I did want it just for the Coral figure.
Yeah, Quarrel's worth it just as a singular figure for sure. Well, and Shooter was nice.
Oh yeah, I guess
Oh,
Shooter
that's
was
right.
as well.
She was Night Force
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Good
Like,
point.
it's a decent sized unit now, and to me, the classified versions of Night Force are so much more appealing than the original figures. I
Makes
think
me
they've
wonder
done.
if we'll ever get another Shooter figure in the regular line.
I gotta think we will at some point. All right, is it time for the main event? Oh, we got to talk about this. So we talked about this on that Brian Flynn interview as well. Obviously, they are for San Diego Comic-Con. They are releasing these special Cold Slither sets that come with a 7-inch record. With what, we did not talk about what songs are on there. You have to assume Cold Slither is on there, and I would guess
Thunder
there's
Machine.
a B-side, right? Maybe Thunder Machine. Oh no, wait. You know what? No, Brian said they're different songs on each one.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's like they're all Cold Slither, but then a different B-side. I don't know. But there are 3 different releases so far. He mentioned one. So when we talked about them, and none of these images, this image had been released, if the other ones had not. He mentioned that the Big Bad Toy Store version was purple and green, but I have not seen a purple and green version yet. So I'm wondering if there might be more of these, because this is the Super7.com and Walmart version with a red and yellow paint spatter record and a Zartan that, I mean, is almost identical, if not completely identical, to the regular Cold Slither Zartan release. Like, isn't that pretty much the same?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does. I don't see any difference.
So there's this one, and then there is the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive version with a more cartoon, like it's the Cold Slither Zartan, but in more cartoony colors, with a different colored record. And this is all in a box with a poster inside. And then finally, this one to me is the gem of the bunch. A zebra striped Zartan. This is the Reigning Phoenix exclusive set. And this is the one that he said would be extremely limited. And I don't know if that means only available at the Cold Slither show at San Diego Comic-Con, or if it'll be on their website as well. They haven't released all of the details about all these yet, just these images. But this one with the zebra stripes is awesome.
His Zubaz.
Yes.
And if you've ever wanted a David Lee Roth figure, you paint that hair yellow and you've got it.
I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been a Super 7 David Lee Roth figure.
Well, every time I see, because NECA did a John Bon Jovi figure, And every time I see it for a second, I think it's David Lee Roth, and I'm like, awesome. And then I'm like, oh, it's Bon Jovi. Okay, so that's two people who've said Zubaz now, not Zubaz, because Zubaz are baggy and breathable. These are skin tight.
It's spandex.
Like, yeah, this is spandex here, so not Zubaz.
No, I just was going by the colors.
Although I do have a Sandman figure with the Zubaz style going on, but I will be selling that figure soon, as I will be selling apparently over 200 wrestling figures very, very soon now. I did not realize how many wrestling figures I had until I started packing them up, because some are going in a tote, some are being sold. I'm not
some are being rehomed.
They got to go. No pricing on these as of yet. I'm gonna guess no less than 45. We'll see.
Sign up for the Facebook group and just keep bugging him.
Yeah, as soon as we find something, we will post it. And then we did get final details for the Hasbro for the classified version of Cold Slither. And for anybody wondering, Super 7 will be releasing the other members of the band. It's just going to be over time. But this is the classified San Diego Comic-Con set. The price is $124.99, which I think is a little bit less.
And it seems like it's going to be, knock on wood, easier to get than some of the others, because didn't I see that, or did I misunderstand that? Because isn't there a window during Comic-Con where they said they are putting it up on the website for people to order?
It's available online for Pulse Premium members only.
Oh,
during the San Diego Comic-Con launch, starting at 7/24 at noon Eastern Time, while supplies last. Regular pre-order starts on August 1st. So what I'm guessing, if you remember what they've done in the past, is they haven't stated it as clearly. Because with Mindbender, with Serpentor, what they did is they offered up the stock that was available at the time of San Diego Comic-Con, and then later on they offered pre-orders for the second production run. And I think here they're just stating those dates a little more clearly. So 7/24 is I expect to be just part of, like, if they've got 15,000 units for San Diego Comic-Con, whatever they don't sell at the show will be available online. And once that runs out, it's gone. And then I would guess August 1st, if there's any of that left, it'll be available. Everything else will be pre-orders for the second production run. That is my guess, because that's what they've done in the past.
The more I know about Super 7 eventually releasing the whole band, like I'll still get this if I can, but if I miss out on the first round or wind up not with this at all, it will not crush me, I don't think, as badly.
Yeah, I'm still going back to, I really don't want, and I know I've got this breaker sitting right here, but that's because I want a better breaker than the original one. I still am in a spot where I just don't want Sunbow in my classified, really.
Yeah.
So I still want this. I still love these figures. I'm kind of like with Noel. I like the idea of it as Super 7 more. However, part of the reason why I still want this, sorry listeners, I really want to do a head swap with Ripper so that normal Ripper can have the long, luxurious Cold Slither locks. Because that feathered hair is just so good.
Yeah, I mean, look, this set looks great. And as I said before, this is a unique piece that's going to kind of sit on its own and be just a cool thing to have on display. Like, really, for me, separate from classified. Because, look, I'm probably going to order it. But, I really, it's a Super 7 thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
And,
a good point. Throw up, well, first, Yorktown Joe, I
was
sent you
trying
an
to answer him.
invitation and I never got anything. I'll send you another invitation, Yorktown Joe. And then Brett White has a really good point here.
Brett White says, I want to encourage Hasbro to keep doing weird stuff. I will vote with my dollars. Dollars I don't have.
I can imagine if I do get this, that the packaging is super nice, and I may just wind up leaving it in there because it's got those big windows.
And they do look pretty cool in the packaging, although the packaging makes me wish they came with those big stacks.
Yeah.
And that's, I will probably hold on to the packaging for a long time because the back of it will make a great backdrop for toy photography, especially with the Jim and the Holograms tour poster on it. But I think I do need some back alley brawl photos of them beating up Joes using their musical instruments. And friend of mine and Dave's, Wes, when we were talking about this, he brought up a really good point as well. Hasbro put out classified size Misfits figures from Gem to go along with the Cold Slither.
Yes. Yeah, well, and I would like to see, when I say I don't necessarily need Sunbow looks like this, but if they wanted to do like Gem, if they wanted to do Hector Ramirez, like stuff like that is a little bit different story, like different characters. I would be interested in, because then it's a classified interpretation of a character, whereas this is specifically a Sunbow look.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know how I am. I'll buy it. All right. Moving along to the news that made us go live tonight. Let's talk about Wetsuit. Oh, I was excited when I saw this.
I was dying to hear your thoughts.
So a number of different outlets were gifted with these reveals last Thursday, I think it was. I don't know, whatever. Last week. Wetsuit was one of them. That excites me because it gets us that much closer to Special Mission Brazil. And this is just, I think this is what Wetsuit needs to look like. I like that they've given him a blaster. He's got the removable knife.
He has a head. He's not just a helmet.
Yeah, he has removable. Although, they did that to an extent with Torpedo.
Yeah.
We don't have a totally unmasked head with Torpedo, though.
Yeah, he's got the hood up. But
I love this face sculpt so much.
Yeah.
That it makes me want, like, if they did a Night Force Torpedo or Tiger Force, whichever subline, and they gave us a fully unmasked head, I'd buy it in a heartbeat because this looks great.
Yeah, and I would expect Lifeline, like when he comes out, will probably have a removable helmet. Like I think so.
Or at least a swappable head.
Yeah. Wetsuit's water jet device,
little hydro sled thing,
whatever that's called. It's a little weird. I have confidence it'll look awesome once we get it in hand.
Yeah, well, because the thing with the original one is it's got the handle in the middle, so he can hold it and it propels him. But on this one, I don't see that, so I'm not sure exactly how that works. I'm wondering if it actually pegs to his backpack. was the first thing I was thinking of.
I was
I don't know. I
wondering
could
that
see
too.
it might have, if you look at it, this might be the bottom of it because it almost looks like it's raised on the other side, so there might be handles there. Like
Yeah,
I'm expecting 2 handles on this.
there just seems to be like some texture or like some pegs at the top of it, and that's what made me think it might plug into the backpack.
I mean, it may
Well,
well
this
plug
is
into
the
the
new
backpack.
GI Joe Subline Centurion Force.
I'd be fine with that.
Tom Henry says, "Look at those fins. I'm gonna get a Hydro Viper before I get a fan."
Well, you know what's funny? I've seen that in a lot of places, but we've made those kind of assumptions about parts in the past and been wrong. So
Yeah,
I'm not looking at anything anymore and thinking, oh, that means we're getting whatever.
we still
Look,
don't have a Flash, and we've had that
right,
rifle from Glinda for a year
right.
plus.
It's crazy. But anyway, he looks great. He looks great, and I have full confidence once we see the full reveal of his water propulsion unit there. It'll be great. I like the flashlight, everything about it. I mean, this is classified wetsuit. I'm happy.
Perfect update. You know, they didn't stray too far from the original figure, and they didn't need to.
Yeah, I mean, I love that original figure. Outside of any special mission connections he might have, I loved Wetsuit, and I always found him to be a huge, and this is just me, a huge upgrade over Torpedo. Next up, another one I've been dying to see, Sci-Fi. Now, I would still like to see the Blackout version, but this is, again, just updated, classified version of the original Sci-Fi. What do you guys think of his wacky laser blast Dragon Ball energy stream thing?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I like it. It's weird.
You know, you're thinking he's a laser trooper. He should have a straight line.
That is the kind of blast effect that I would Photoshop in for that big gun that came with Roadblock. The sci-fi looking Daria gun. So I don't know how much I like it for this, but I love everything else. Although we know Sci-Fi never takes his helmet off.
Right.
That's
so
true.
This was
even when he's watching RoboCop, he does not take his or what? No, what was he watching in that?
He's watching some sort of like anime type thing. It looked like, because remember this. Even though I always said he kind of looks like RoboCop, he precedes RoboCop by 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Wreckship85 says, I was talking to Lenny about the effect piece, and he said it can separate into 2 different parts for long piece and ball piece looks.
Okay, that's good, because that was the first thing I thought when I saw it, was it really would be, because they've done blast effects that are multiple parts like that before.
Oh.
And my first thought was this should be like that, but it wasn't immediately apparent that it was.
Okay.
I love the fact that he's got the 2 different face shields. He's got the one that's just the visor and the one that's the full face. I think that's really cool. Looks great. The armor looks great. I'm very, very happy with this figure.
Yeah. And his helmet is removable. Not a head swap. And it doesn't look oversized here. I'm curious to see what it'll look like in hand.
I mean, they've done a really good job with that. I mean, if you look at a lot like, who was it? We just got somebody, Footloose. I mean, technically, this isn't much different from Footloose's helmet with the chin strap piece that it has. And I mean, it's got a snug fit. Like, they've gotten to a point where it seems like the thickness of that plastic they're able to work with pretty well.
Yeah.
Steve Martin popping in with, it would be cool if Crystal Ball could use that effect. Seeing the like ghost weapons that he comes with, I think you're onto something there.
All right. Next up, this guy. You guys talk about him. Wait, Grim, is he really called Grim Viper?
Grim Viper, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's, you know what? Keep reusing those parts. That's
Yeah,
fine.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Make your money back somehow.
I really love the Range Viper mold and the face mask, and I know we had joked about getting that version that came in the 2-pack where they colored the skull fleshy, and it's giving me that vibes. There's something about the colors that I just feel like he's way more bland than he should be. Like, I want to be excited for him, but it's just not there. Maybe once we're looking at something other than a rendering, it'll spark. But like, it's good camo, but it doesn't pop the same way as like the camo that came on Retro Stalker.
So this is amusing to me, and I'm seeing this in the chat. Where did it come from that because he's all old tooling, they were able to do more new tooling for the rest of the wave? Who like broke that news? Because that's not news. That's how the toy industry has been for like 5 decades now. But I've noticed people treating it like a revelation.
Also,
No,
Rex,
it's not a repaint. It is using different parts. Like it is a newly assembled figure from existing parts, which is great. I have no problem with this figure at all. I think this is the kind of stuff they need to be doing maybe more often than they do. I don't care for it. I don't want it, but I have no problem with them making it. But where did everybody get the revelation of this? Because it's not new news, but it seems to be treated that way.
maybe all these folks weren't collecting Motu classics at the time where that was hammered into you every single time they released a new wave. Sneezy the Squid said yes to Brett White's comment, which has moved up so far in the chat. Oh, there we go. He says yes, blue and red camo would be cooler. And I found Brett's comment. He said, I feel like Cobra troops should never wear normal camo.
Or
So
or
that
even
was
do him
my-
like blue and orange and kind of have him compliment the Alley Viper.
I would prefer him in wilder colors.
There you
And
go.
that was my initial problem, was that Cobra shouldn't be like this. But then I remembered the Jungle Bat, which is one of my favorite figures, is green like this, and the Jungle Viper.
Yeah,
So
But
like,
that's the
there's a
like
precedent.
range vipers are jungle troopers, so it would make sense that you've got some like variation on a range viper who's just got more jungle camo on.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna call him the Grim Viper, even if you don't want to go the wacky or bright colors route, do a
if he was
jet
like all
black
Yeah.
and white camo, like something just that evokes more of that Grim Reaper vibe rather than standard army man just in a really cool helmet.
Or beat Fresh Monkey Fiction to the punch and just put that red cloak on him so he looks like the cover of that one comic. Because they're doing that figure.
Yorktown Joe says, newly assembled figure from existing parts sounds like the Operation Monsterforce Donner Party backstory. It's correct.
Yeah, if he was a darker, cooler color scheme, that Grim Viper would land better for me. Or if they named him something different, and it just doesn't land for me. But once we see, once we see the diorama shots and everything else, maybe I'll change my mind. We know these renders can be a little flat sometimes.
I kind of see this guy as not even like a troop builder, but just like this one-off.
Oh yeah, I see it as a singular character.
Yeah.
All right, moving along, and I don't want to come off like I'm pooping on this guy. I like I said, they probably need to do more stuff like this, but it's just not exciting to me. as of now.
When you look at the first two figures that we looked at, then you see this again. Like, it's a good figure.
And then you see the next one that we're about to show
right.
you.
Right.
It's just kind of like if this had been maybe in a different wave, we would all be like, "Oh my gosh!"
Well, and let's be honest,
though,
if we're just comparing how awesome figures look, remove the G.I. Joe mythology and nostalgia from your brain, and just compare: is this a cool figure? This guy versus this guy. Like, honestly, the Grim Viper is a cooler action figure, but I mean, Zorana's boy toy, we all need it.
Before we leave the Grim Viper, Road Pig John is going to close us out with the gun the gun looks nuts. The photography advertising for this figure is what is going to be the selling point, guys. Toy photography.
All right. So mainframe, one more step. I think we, at this point, have all of the parts necessary for Special Mission Brazil, aside from Claymore would need a new portrait, because we've got all the parts to make Claymore now.
Wait, doesn't he just have Footloose's head?
Yeah, but they're not going to do that in Classified. They'd give him a new portrait. They have never reused a portrait for a different character. So, mainframe, what do you think of the alternate head and the difference in his trousers and his blouse?
I think having different colored trousers and shirt are a tremendous upgrade. That was one thing that I prefer, like Lady J with the darker pants.
Yeah,
I prefer mainstream being, because he looks like this in Sunbow as well. Same thing with like Lady J. They both had that look. And yes, I don't want Sunbow in here, but I do think that look just is better than just being one, because it looks like he's wearing a jumpsuit otherwise. Like coveralls.
I don't mind a good speed suit. Which, if you run into me at Dragon Con, you may find out in person. I have been known to wear a speed suit from time to time. But yeah, I think this does look good.
That was my first comment too.
I'm really getting kind of tired of alt heads having the same face expression. And that's one of the things I think we have talked about with the Snowcat, is those alternate heads have, it makes a difference when they have a different look. And I like the baseball cap alternate head for him, but I agree, if we had more of like an angry face or the Duke yelling face, it would make the decision of which do I want to display him with a little harder.
I love the way that we got a backpack that looks very similar to the original one. Same thing we got with Sci-Fi and Wetsuit. That old giant computer that he used to come with obviously is a little archaic. So I love what they've done here, because they make something that's kind of like, it's sort of retro futuristic in a way.
Yeah, I like the new computer.
Yeah, it looks cool, and I'm curious to see how it's gonna, because I'm sure it's gonna fold up.
Yeah.
Smaller module. I'm curious to see how that works. I like his little doodads over here off to the side. They, again, like they did with Wetsuit, they gave him a blaster. He's got a knife, so he's got weapons as opposed to the original figure.
And he has a hose, which
and he's got a hose.
Connects the computer to the backpack, I guess.
Or maybe to one of those little doodads. It looks like...
Oh, yeah,
Didn't the anniversary figure have that?
Well, the original figure had the hose that connected the backpack to a little hand control device.
Yeah, that's it. The anniversary figure had that as well.
And I'm guessing that one doodad with the thing sticking out of the top will maybe connect.
Yeah.
Yorktown Joe says he needs the Carol, you're Zorana? fake.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree
Yeah.
with that. But put up Reverend Scott Stripling's.
Good old
No,
Reverend
not
Scott.
that one.
No, not that one.
The one at the bottom.
Oh, the knife to the
The
radio.
hose connects the knife to the radio. Okay. So yeah, mainframe looks good. Knee pads, make sense here. I've sometimes I don't love them, but I think this works. I'm curious
He
to
should
see
have had
what's on
them
his
on the
wrist over there.
original figure, because even with the way his computer was,
I
it's
think
not like
he's
he was sitting down at it. He
Right.
was
Yeah, I think
always-
he's pictured like kneeling in his
Yeah.
card art. So yeah, knee pads would make sense.
But I am dying to see prototype pictures, diorama pictures, because I think like he looks cool here, but I think once we see all these details, like what's on his belt on the back there, that red piece, what's on his wrist, like I really want to see a 360 of this guy. I'm excited. So I take it back. He is better than Grim Viper. But perhaps the most exciting reveal of all. And also, let's just take a moment to acknowledge how weird it is that they just dropped these on social media outlets, like with no discussion or anything. Just boom. Here are these. When are they coming? We don't know. Pre-orders? I don't know. Here's just some stuff.
But what will suck
Mhm.
is if this is the bulk of the reveals for San Diego Comic-Con.
Well, that's the
and
thing
then
is
they
I
just
can't
give us a
imagine.
couple of Arctic figures.
Also, I think it's kind of funny that we had a thing called Yojo June, and they waited a couple weeks after Yojo June to like drop this many reveals.
I feel like maybe something got. They're either trying to get more out faster or something. I don't think this was planned. I think this was an adjustment to the schedule somehow. And I wonder if we're going to see more Arctic stuff than we were originally going to see at San Diego Comic-Con to try and push the Snowcat. Like maybe they've got some stuff that wasn't going to be until next year, and they were like, "Ooh, we need to juice this up a little bit. Let's move some things around."
So Sneezy the Squid says Lenny needed you guys to do a live stream because we were on a roll there of doing live streams back to back. And Rec Chip, this also what I was thinking. Speculation is that these were the renders from the canceled stream.
Oh yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Could be. All right. Finally, Kristian, I'm going to let you take lead on this one.
Oh,
tell us
look
about
at
it.
That. Now, let's go back to the beginning of the podcast real quick when
that was a long time ago.
I know, when we talked about the figures that were showcased on GIJoe.com. This guy has been waiting
right
all these years, and I am
him and Sci-Fi.
This guy and Sci-Fi, we both got him in the same drop.
Oh, good point.
Yeah.
I am so glad it took this long because I don't think we would have gotten this if he had been released 3 years ago.
I
this
agree 100%.
Originally was not a figure that I had any interest in. Honestly, it wasn't until I discovered the Valverse Venom era, where they had like the big, claws. But this, oh my gosh, instead of doing a whole alternate portrait, it's just a faceplate. I imagine it's going to work like the Rebel, the indoor Rebel Trooper, with just a peg. But just on that, in this render, that face sculpt is so good. It's going to be difficult for me to decide which way to display the cape piece.
So let's talk about the cape, because Brett White has a good question.
Are those goods soft?
So
it looks it.
Well, because typically soft goods are not shown in renders.
True.
But, you know, we'll see.
So even if it isn't,
well, you know what? I take that back though, because we saw renders of Mindbender, didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he had his cape. So maybe Hasbro may do things a little differently then.
So for a deluxe figure, he comes with a lot. I'm going to
Well,
say
is he
this
deluxe?
with
He's
pet.
he's going to be pet, so he's
well,
going to be 45
yeah.
range.
But I mean, the pet figures are deluxe.
Well, deluxe with a 35 range.
Pets are 40.
Yeah, and pets are 45.
Yeah.
You cannot put a price on this pet. But real quickly, just because I've seen it mentioned in the chat, the reason he comes with a grappling gun and a harpoon, because out in the desert, you need a harpoon. He's a scorpion. He's got to be able to
Get over
blast
here.
his enemies and go, get over here.
Well, yeah, I think that hook is absolutely intended to be like a little, a prod to control that monster.
The claws that he comes with make more sense than what we got in the Valor versus Venom era.
I disagree.
I
giant,
miss it. I wanted the giant oversized claws.
Maybe you can put the scorpion claws on
him. Which I think that's how one of the releases of the 2000 era is. But this scorpion is amazing. It is Clash of the Titans huge. It looks like every single segment in that tail is articulated.
Yeah, I think so.
It has teeth.
The fangs on it. Like this was something that was mutated in a Cobra lab.
This is one of Dr. Mindbender's favorite experiments.
I am assuming, because you can't really tell from the render, but I will assume that the claws are articulated as well. Like you can tell that those front claw arms are articulated. I don't think any of the other legs will be, and I almost don't want them to.
I bet the legs are on ball joints. I bet the arms are segmented. As a matter of fact, looking at it, it looks like there's a ball joint at the shoulder and the elbow.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like those front two claw arms are definitely articulated. I think because of his pose, and I imagine he is going to have some weight to him. If they don't put ball joints on those back legs, I'm totally cool with it. Because I don't want him to eventually be like a Mojo figure where his belly will be touching the ground.
That newer Mojo is holding up pretty darn good.
Is it? Yeah. I have it, but he's not on a shelf for that very reason.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yorktown Joe tonight on National Geographic, British accent narrator. And I'm going to do not a good British accent here.
Would you like me to take this one? I'll be ridiculous.
Go for it.
The smaller the scorpion, the more deadly the venom. However, the larger the scorpion, the more painful the sting.
Excellent. You did have some David Attenborough there. I come across more like Eliza Doolittle or Dick Van Dyke when I do a British accent.
I'll tell you this right now. Every once in a while, the program that I've been using to do our social media clips cannot handle your Kentucky accent. I can't remember what it turned Flint into, but it was something crazy. And then when I listened back to it, it sounded like you said like flant or something. Like it, I was like, oh, it did kind of sound like whatever that word was.
Every so often.
Every once in a while.
Yep.
But we all have our regional affectations that we can't do anything about.
But also going back to the soft goods, and this is a figure that Wreckship turned me onto, because that also looks like what Swamp Rat wears. So if this is a subtle nod that eventually we'll get a Swamp Rat figure, yes, please. But this is an automatic buy. Like,
yeah,
all of them in this wave minus Grim will be like, if I find him in the wild, I'll probably get him. I don't know that he'll be a pre-order. Out of how awesome all the other figures were, though, this he steals the cake.
Now, what about you, Noel?
Well, so this is not in my wheelhouse. And I was thinking when I saw this, I was like, man, making a pet figure for a troop builder is certainly a choice. But then I looked at it again. I was like, you know what? He's got this face. And when I look at this now and I think of this this desert scorpion character who runs on with this giant scorpion and just looks like that, that doesn't look like a troop builder to me. That looks like, in my canon now, this is a single Cobra agent. Much like, I'm looking at that Grim Viper and thinking the same thing. So, I'm on the fence because he's such a cool looking figure, and he is, he's true enough to that original figure with giving it some really, really cool updates. So we'll see.
So what is the Scorpion's name? I say he's Stanley Scorpion.
Scorponok. Because they just want to keep that trademark as active as possible.
Oh, see, I was thinking Stabby or Pinchy.
I'm just
Reverend Scott comes in with Fred. Always a good choice.
We'll call him Steve Borden.
And Wreckship 85 with
No, you're right. Noel is right. That is Steve the Scorpion.
Steve the Scorpion.
Yeah, in honor of RoboCop's best friend. All right. Well, that is it for news. We now have to move on to everybody's favorite segment. That's right. It's time for Sound Off, where we go to the Audible Army Facebook group. We go to Audible Interlude Podcast on Instagram and Blue Sky, and we hear from you what you want us to talk about. The segment is called Sound Off. Let's go. First up, he's got a different identity in the Audible Army. Jonathan Childress. How many other versions of the Mission Brazil teammates can we make before we have to get to those versions? Well, I will say this. Tune in to America's Elite on our audio episodes to find out. New to the Audible Army, Devinder 290675 asks, how far will classified go for Hasbro?
As far as it keeps making money.
Yeah, that's kind of an open-ended question. If you want to get a little more specific about,
I took this as a different approach. So if you take all of the classified figures and you line them up together, we will get to the moon.
That's
not much further, though.
Not. That'd be a lot of figures. I don't need all that. All right. Brett White. Everybody check out popheist.com. And let's get Brett to DragonCon. Brett White says, Flint joined the Eco Warriors, Mutt joined DEF, Rock and Roll joined Sonic Fighters. If other iconic Joes, Lady J, Shipwreck, Roadblock, Beachhead, etc., had to join a garishly colored 90s sub-team, which would they join? So first, I'll say this. This is a future segment. There's enough meat on the bone here for us to really dig into this and talk about it. But there's also quick answers to be had if you guys, I don't know if you saw this one and had an opportunity to think about it.
I have a single quick answer. So
Okay, go ahead. I've got one too.
I said Beachhead tried to join the Eco Warriors, but Flint told him that his body odor was a biohazard, so he was not allowed to stay.
Okay.
So he started his own, which is called Beach Patrol, which also includes Chuckles, Rock and Roll, Tracker, and finally joining from my childhood drawings, the Hulkster joining the Beach Patrol, just like the song on the Hulkster's rock and wrestling boot band about Beach Patrol.
Wow. And they're all in just bright, garish Panama City 1989 colors.
Correct.
Excellent.
For anyone that has been in the Facebook group, you probably know my answer already, but I love that we're gonna get a future segment so I can dive more into this.
Yeah.
But Lady J is definitely joining the Poly Holidays.
Ah. Okay. So I just went directly for what Brett brought up here, just to keep it simple. I said Lady J would be an air commando because of the airborne. And I'm seeing her in like a very, very bright blue and green. Shipwreck would be in the supersonic fighters because he is so loud and annoying. And he would be in his turtleneck look. They would change over to that, but it would be I can't quite think of how to describe a fuchsia color for no good reason.
But his sonic noise making thing definitely needs to have some poly screeches.
Oh yes, absolutely. Roadblock joins DEF because he would be cutting great promos to the kids about not doing drugs. He'd be he'd be like the Titus O'Neil of the DEF, a community outreach guy. And then finally, Beachhead would join Ninja Force just because it's going to make everyone so angry.
He's got a balaclava. He must be a ninja.
Yes.
Well, with Shipwreck, my initial reaction is Shipwreck would join the DEF as well, but he is going to be like the Jerry Blank type character that, when they're busting up the drugs, Shipwreck is going to be like, I was there, kid. I know what you're going through, turning tricks in a back alley for dime bags. You don't want to end up like me. Like, I
thought you were going to say he's going to be the official drug tester for them.
I'm glad that you had enough respect for him to put him in Sonic Fighters, because I'm like, oh man,
I've got to make a note because I just came up with my next Let's Freaking Go ring. It reminds me of the company that I used to work for. Their officially stated drug testing policy was, if you have drugs, bring them in. We will test them and let you know whether or not they work. This was a large information technology company.
Wow.
Oh, the .com boom was a very special time.
All right. Tom Lazit. What's your favorite scene from the G.I. Joe live action movies? Hashtag Fang 2025, hashtag Hit and Run 2026, hashtag Risk for Dirt Nap 2025. And I just want to let you know, Tom, the hashtags don't really do anything in the Facebook group, but we appreciate your efforts nonetheless.
But I'm going to add the Risk for Dirt Nap to all of my Instagram posts now, because I didn't know that was a thing. And thank you, Tom, for that.
So my favorite scene from the live-action G.I. Joe movies is when Storm Shadow and Firefly break Cobra Commander out of the German prison and leave Destro behind. The prison break is awesome. You get Walton Goggins, you get Firefly being awesome, you get Storm Shadow being awesome, and then they just leave Destro. I legit, I mean, we still have not reviewed them, but we have discussed them. I find a lot of things to like about both of the live action movies, and you can hear our review of the Snake Eyes movie wherever you get your podcasts.
And I'm
I
sure
like that
this
you said
isn't
both.
related to your comment, but Tom Henry chimes in with hashtag what?
What?
But in my mind, it is related to your answer for this question.
Mine is also from G.I. Joe Retaliation. It's not only like my favorite scene in the live action movies, I think it's one of my favorite action scenes just in general, and especially in like a martial arts movie. And that is the mountain fight scene from G.I. Joe Retaliation, where they have the little, like, they have Storm Shadow in the body bag and he's like being zipped along. It's inspired by our favorite issue of the G.I. Joe comic that our podcast is named after. They actually took inspiration from it. And one of the things I love about that is the story behind it. When they were actually trying to block out that scene, they took actual, like, string and ran it across the living room or like the whatever room they were in, like across couches and stuff, and they zipped the little action figures along to try to block out how the scene would play out. So very cool scene.
And it is legit an amazing scene. Like, it's not just, oh, it's good for these G.I. Joe movies. Like, it's an amazing scene for any action movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, listeners, I can't answer this question, and I'm being so honest. I have not seen well, no, I did watch Snake Eyes a second time when it started streaming, but I have not seen the other two live action movies since they came out because I have such bad visceral memories of how much I did not like them at the time. So I will have to answer this when we finally review it, because I am curious to see how older Kristian now views those movies versus younger me.
Now that you're 19 instead of
Right.
3.
Right.
You know what? It's another awesome scene is the Cobra assault on the pit in the first movie, because they use freaking underground drilling machines.
Mm-hmm.
It's
true. I think of that, and I think of in Snake Eyes, when I can't think of the character's name, but the Arashikage madam with her fans, her fight scene with the fans, I loved it. But I can't honestly say that is my favorite scene, since I can't really compare it to anything about the first two.
Sure.
Because that first G.I. Joe movie really... And the reasons why I don't like it are not for the reasons that you hear.
It wasn't what
talk
anybody wanted, I think, in a G.I. Joe movie.
Yeah. I agree with that.
It's got, it's got its pluses and minuses.
We'll get into more detail on both of those at a future date.
Yeah.
Gary Mitchell, whenever you run into differences between what's on the file card versus what's in the comic versus what's in Sunbow, which one do you go with as the real story, or do you come up with a way to make it all fit in your headcanon? Cobra. I don't care. It's all different stuff to me. Like, there's so many different continuities. We've gotten so many different versions of G.I. Joe. I don't worry about it. I take each thing for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the context. If a character starts acting a certain way in one of the types of media, and then all of a sudden they're showing traits they've never demonstrated that are in another, I might be taken aback a little bit. But we don't see that very often. So
throw up New York Night 1974. So the response there is comic books. Well, which comic books? Mm-hmm. Because they're different continuities of the comic books as well.
Yeah, I would say as a kid, whatever I liked, I put in my own headcanon. It's the same way I was with Masters of the Universe. It's the same way I was with Star Wars. I don't know that there was any one singular. And I'm glad New York night that you brought up the comic books, because since the Energon universe has started, that has changed my headcanon. Like, Energon universe Clutch is Clutch now versus how he was when I was like, if I was a kid, Clutch would always be on the team. So
Yeah, I think you just, if you enjoy a property, you go along with the different iterations of it that keep it viable across the decades.
Brett White versus Kentucky Fried Clutch on Sunbow.
Well,
Or
now
My
that's
name
gonna
is
be
Lance
Kristian's
Steinberg, and
favorite.
I'm from New Jersey.
That's gonna be Kristian's favorite clutch anyway.
I was gonna say, just to throw off the AI editor, versus Kentucky Fried Clutch on Sunbow with his
I honestly,
one-time tea.
I honestly think that they looked at the figures for Breaker and Clutch that have the same, head sculpt. They saw that Breaker was from Kentucky, and when they were writing the character of Clutch, they were just like, you know what? He's from Kentucky, so we're going to give him this accent.
Yorktown
Steve,
Joe, real
oh,
quick, because this is something that I know Dave and I think even Noel have touched on with knowing is half the battle. But Yorktown Joe says, well, the great thing with G.I. Joe is the ability to have adventures with figures that never impact anyone else's story or universe. You use imagination and enjoy what you like. Here, here.
100%. And Mini Pete.
Mini
Throw Mini
Pete
Pete up
says,
there.
I just revert to my own head canon. That's why Airtight's backpack is really a jetpack.
See, and I love that because when I've mentioned this before on the show, when I was a kid, Airtight's backpack was a Ghostbuster rig. He was a Ghostbuster on the team for quite some time for me.
I did take some pictures in my Airtight costume with a guy in a Ghostbusters costume because
It works.
Yeah.
Steve Martin, since the bivouac is now an unlock for the Haslab, does this increase the possibility of getting more sets like this with future vehicles? I mean, I would imagine so. Although you could have asked the same question about the patches that came with the Rattler, and apparently that they're not carrying that forward, thankfully. But sure.
And that funded a lot faster than the
yeah, right.
than the Snowcat did.
Maybe they're like, we should have done the patches. The bivouac was a mistake. They love the patches.
They're learning the wrong lessons here, guys.
But yeah, I would hope so. I would love to see, that would be a good way to get those things out or to get the tooling done for those things, because I think it's fair to assume that if the Snowcat does fully fund and we get that bivouac, that we'll see the regular version, maybe other repaints. We've talked about that before.
Well, I said it was the star of the unlocks, but apparently the people on the internet disagree with me, even though the other unlocks are figures they don't want either. So.
Yeah, well, people on the internet are how they are. So if you, and I should have posed this to you guys before, but future Haslabs, what do you think would be a good vehicle playset type connection? The one I came up with is, if we do get the Moray, the hydrofoil, I think you could do a Coastal Defender to go with that. It doesn't necessarily have to be, because my first thought was the Cobra Bunker, but then I thought, well, no, wait, how neat would it be to have the Coastal Defender to oppose it?
Nowhere Manchild, a Night Force forward observer would make sense. I think we mentioned this on our last episode, the deep dive into the Snowcat. I think with any vehicle, be it a tank or anything else, Joe-wise, you could put a forward observer, mortar defense, any of those like 82 to 84 mini play sets, and it would fit and make perfect sense.
Yeah.
If you were to do, but see, I guess you could do that as a regular release, because when you said the Moray, I was thinking, oh, you could do the Night Landing as an unlock, but that's actually small enough you could do that in the regular line.
Yeah, I think the Night Landing craft could be probably a claw priced thing, maybe.
I'd be curious if they actually do that with like a vinyl, like inflatable construction, or if you just want
I
to go
don't
with
know
plain
if I'd
plastic.
want that. I would want it to be able to float.
I'm trying to think, because for Cobra, we didn't really get very many of them. And
oh wait, this is actually not a bad idea. Tom Henry said Hydra Sled Haslab versus Coastal Defender, which that doesn't need to be a Haslab, but what about the Hydra Sled with the Moray? Like not really a play set, but definitely could be sort of a companion vehicle.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking of the Cobra artillery range. It's a neat concept. I don't know what it could come with, though. Because
Well,
I mean,
let's throw a couple of picks out and move on, because we're actually getting a little close to the end here.
Yeah. I would say if you're doing a tank, the missile defense unit with that brick wall, I think that's a good companion piece for that one.
Yeah, that'd be a good diorama piece for a tank for sure. Kristian, you got anything else?
I don't. I'm sticking with my the Mobat with something like the machine gunnery. With the anti-tank.
Well, I'm sure we'll end up discussing this more in the future. Silent Interlude. How successful is the classified line now, and how successful would it have to be to get actual retail space? I never actually see most classified or Reaction Plus figures at retail. I've been to 3 Targets in the last 24 hours looking for Breaker with no luck, but the only Joe I have seen are 1 Retro Viper and a random peg of 10 Reaction Plus Dukes. No one else. Will Duke be a failure when he goes to clearance in 2 weeks and used as an excuse to not stock any more reactions? It just seems like we're still dealing with very volatile distribution and availability, and that is probably hurting the viability of the line. So, much like the figure that is farmed parts to allow for new tooling in the rest of the line, this distribution situation has existed for decades. It's just hot stuff is harder to find. We have learned from what happened with Super 7's regular reaction line that what we see on Target shelves has very little bearing on, or is very little indication of the success of the line. Same thing with classified. We have seen stuff go to clearance very, very quickly, but we all know classified is doing very, very well. And I think in this day and age, retail is a very poor indication of the health of the line.
Well, and I think too with G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe Classified is a very, very popular toy line. It's one of Hasbro's biggest money makers. It has a very dedicated but very narrow audience. Whereas like something like Transformers, you go into any department store, toy shelves, you're going to see tons of those there because they're very popular, but they also appeal to a much broader audience.
Yeah.
So it's weird with G.I. Joe. It's kind of been like this ever since the late era of the 25th anniversary line.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, this has happened line after line after line over the years. That's not Barbie or Transformers or, one of the big names.
And we know from that speech that the CFO lady did that we talked about months ago, you know, we said then their outlook is going to make it harder to find stuff in the line because retailers don't want stuff to sit on the pegs. Hasbro doesn't want stuff to sit on the pegs because they want the retailers to order the next wave. So it's almost like a perfect storm right now where they are ordering what they know what will sell through. So if they're selling it and it's not on the pegs and there's another wave coming out soon, we don't need to order anymore.
Well, and what's funny is the line between nothing's ever there and rotting on pegs is like so thin.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's if people see something in a store twice, it's rotting on pegs. It's all just silly.
Nowhere Manchild mentioned that one of the targets that he was at, he lives near Chicago, still has old regular reaction figures.
Yeah,
And
some of mine do as well.
I can't think of the last time I saw a reaction figure. And like the target that's closest to my house, there are pegs for the G.I. Joe Reaction Plus. I have never seen them. Like as soon as they put them on the shelves, they are gone.
We saw some Reaction Plus yesterday, and then one of the targets we went to still had the Snow Serpent Deke Colors Reaction Wave sitting there. So there's stuff sprinkled around. But again, the bottom line is what you see at your retail stores is not any indication of the health of the line.
I also wonder too, most other toy lines, they're running several different sublines concurrently, whereas G.I. Joe has been running classified figures pretty much exclusively by Hasbro with some of you had the Snake Eyes movie figures that had a couple of the different types of the 5-point of articulation figures that came with those and the larger figures. But like when you go look at Master of the Universe or Transformers or one of these other ones, there are 4 or 5 different sublines sometimes running concurrently, and I think that tells retailers to afford them more space.
Well, remember, it was said that it was a good thing when the Snake Eyes movie hit that there were different ranges because it gave the brand a higher profile. So
we saw more product.
Right.
As long as those were on the shelves, there was more product in stores. We may have seen the same Cobra Commander figures over and over again, but you pretty much always were guaranteed to walk into a Walmart or Target and find some classified product.
I just want to touch on Yorktown Joe's comment quickly. I have thought about buying the last 2 classified Storm Shadows and the last Stalker and Cobra Commander still clinging at the last Walmart in my area to stock Joe's. Would it trigger a reorder? Now, the reason why I want to touch on this, I don't know if it would trigger a reorder.
Yeah, I have no idea how any of that works.
However, back during the 25th anniversary line, one of my friends that was even more hardcore into Joe because he was like buying doubles of the vehicles and everything. He was so mad at his Target because this was around the time of the Paratrooper Scarlet and the Cobra Flint, like they just sat on shelves. One of the workers told him as long as there were figures on the pegs, they wouldn't restock. So he went around and bought every single one. Then went to Walmart to return the figures to get his money back so that hopefully the Targets would restock. I don't condone this, by the way, but it has always amused me, like the lengths that people will go to get what they want.
You're right. And with that, we have run out of time. We're going to have to drop Joe and Tell this week because that is all the show we've got. Noel, why don't you tell us a little bit about the Finest?
The Finest is an international G.I. Joe costuming club that raises money for Canines for Warriors, which is a wonderful charitable organization. If you want to check out thefinestcc.com to find more information, or go to the Finest Recruitment Center on Facebook if you've ever thought about dressing up like one of your favorite Joe characters and helping us raise money.
And Kristian, where can we find that toy photography you do so well?
You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky under the name Legion Cub.
And you can catch us live at Dragon Con Labor Day weekend. We will be recording that panel and releasing it the following week wherever you get your podcasts. And next Monday, we will be back with another live stream. Until then, yo, Joe.
Cobra. Listen to the Brian Flynn interview.
You got that?